Hey, Jason.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, great.
So you just completed your third HVAC20 free quote process lead.
Yes,
And the
that's
other
right.
two you sold. One was for $10,000 and the other was for $19,000.
Yep.
And now you're going to tell me about the lead you're driving home from.
Right. So this one will be two systems. It's going to be a $17,000 5-stage hybrid and a $7,500 mini split for the garage.
Okay.
The so he so this was a turnover lead from a technician who was quoting a blower motor for $1,000 or whatever for replacing the furnace, but it's 2007 model. So I saw that he had ordered that equipment. I was like, did you mention, replacement to the guy instead of just fixing the blower motor? That's a lot of money on something that's that old. And this is a newer technician, so he didn't really think of it like that. So anyway, so he needs some training. But so anyway, he asked the homeowner, and they're like, yeah, I think we probably would like to have a quote since it is an older system. So then they couldn't meet yesterday. They wanted to meet today, where I actually contacted them this morning, and they said they could meet today. And so I sent the comfort survey over to them, and they filled it out immediately. Came back with 5s on the summer and winter questions for uneven temperatures. So their daughter's room's upstairs, and it's always really hot or really cold.
And they
Zeros on the
love their
other two,
daughter.
and they love their daughter. That's their only daughter.
Okay.
The we've been servicing it for a while, so I was able to look up the equipment, see what they had in there. Was able to pull a load based on the information that I have, square footage from the local county website, and the information that the technicians had in there with the pictures. So the load range was around 15 to 19,000 on cooling, and in our area it's around 16 to 22,000 for the heating. And so, and it was a 2-ton unit with a 60,000 BTU furnace. So the furnace is way oversized, and the air conditioning's
So
oversized
single
too.
stage furnace.
Single stage. Oh, the furnace was 2-stage.
Okay. What's the
But
lower stage?
the lower stage was still like 55 or something.
Okay.
It didn't really drop much. It might have been a 70,000 BTU furnace, but it said the output was 66 and 53.
Okay. So not really
So
even it's 2-stage, because it's not even gonna ever run continuous in low.
right. And they had the issues on both seasons. And so
Even with a 2-ton heat pump, how many square feet?
2-ton air conditioner. It was about 950 square feet.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
small area, but there was there's a lot of knee walls in that space.
Oh, it's an old Cape.
And that it's I don't know what you call that particular style home, but
Cape
the way
Cod.
this the way they got it broken up upstairs, a lot of knee walls.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not really familiar with. I don't think it's Cape Cod. It was something else, Georgian
Okay.
or something.
Do the knee walls connect outdoors, or do the knee walls connect to empty cavities?
Empty cavities.
Okay.
But after looking at it later, there was some duct work issues to go into that room.
Okay.
So I was able to figure that out later. So anyway, I get there. They filled out the conference survey. They had not looked at the videos. Proceeded with the questionnaire, and instead of pulling up the duct pressure video, I've screenshotted the slides, and I just presented it myself instead of letting Nate present it.
Okay.
And this time, because there was some distractions with their daughter.
Oh, how young's the daughter?
4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I was able to hold their attention by presenting the slide, because I can watch them looking at the slides.
Right. And
while
then
I'm
if
pointing
there's
to
a
it.
distraction, you can stop for a minute.
Right.
That's where you can't with a video. Yeah.
Right. So I explained the duct pressure to them, and I said that this is why. So this is a 2007 unit, and without even testing the duct pressure, I know it's oversized because I've already looked at your likely load range. I said it took 16 years for this motor to die.
Is it an
But it's
ECM?
because of high pressure. It's a PSC.
Oh, okay.
2-stage, but we still see them die.
Was it clean?
It was dirty.
Oh, so
Filters
your
dirty.
static isn't even a good indicator.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, I said, we're going to come back to this, but I'm going to ask you a question about this in a few minutes, and then you can decide what you want to do. Then I proceeded to the 6 functions video. Well, slides. I had printed the slides, screenshot of the slides, presented it myself, explained to them the 6 functions.
Okay.
And then when we were talking about the load matching, I told them that, and this is where the duct pressure is going to make the most difference. So we have if there's a 5-stage, and then there's a full variable speed. And if you choose one of those two, it has a big enough range where the duct pressure is not going to be an issue. But if you go with the single stage or the 2-stage, we need to test your duct pressure.
Right,
So I
because we're
was
not going to have enough range, and we're going to want to dial this in a little better.
Right. And so I told him what the duct pressure test cost is, but I said I can't even test it because your blower motor's dead.
Right. Oh, right. And you guys were doing service for this person before, or this was a service call? What?
Right. So there, it's a maintenance customer. We've been doing service.
So you don't have any records of previous static pressure tests?
Unfortunately not.
So do you think that your owners are going to be open to requiring that static pressure tests be done on all service customers, so that you have that information for people in the future when their equipment fails?
Yes. So the owner is definitely on board with that.
Okay, because that would have been really useful at this call.
Right. And I think we've kind of implemented that since the service had been done last. So that he is requiring them to do the static pressure.
He is. Oh, that's awesome. Wonderful.
Yep. So we so then I had the 6 functions slide out. We were going through that, the load matching. We're going through the filtration, because and discussing that. And so they grasped all that. So I said, let's go take a look at the equipment. He showed me upstairs, showed me his daughter's room. one of the vents was closed. That was part of the problem.
Oh,
The other side of the house upstairs, the registers were rusty, which tells me that they've been condensing over there, and there's low airflow going to the other rooms, her room, the daughter's room, because hers were not rusted. And so we go up in the attic, look at the equipment. The first two things I see is that it does have a very large filter rack, 20 by 25, going to a 14-inch furnace with no transition. So really, they just have a 14 by 25 filter.
right. Right. One side's small and the other side's big. Or
And
both
so,
sides are small.
so I'm loading my gun. That's part of my ammunition. I'm loading.
Right.
And if you do the math there, the filter face, that's a filter face filtration problem. It's too high. It's not going to catch
Well, right. You're getting too much
the
velocity
particles.
past that filter anyway, so it doesn't matter how good the filter is.
Right. Second thing I noticed was the run going to the daughter's room was an 8 that split into 2 6s, which is fine, except somebody jerry-rigged the Y. It wasn't a Y. It was something else.
Okay.
It was
So
like,
you're going to be able to increase her airflow by fixing that Y and maybe pulling the duct tighter.
right. And the other problem is it was just the supply plenum looked like something out of a, I don't know, a Marvel movie or something with all the spider arms coming out.
Okay.
And her room was coming off the top of the plenum, and I know that's wrong. I know you're not supposed to put the return or the supply on top of the supply
Or at the
plenum
end
like
of
that.
yeah.
It needs to be off the side, or I don't even think you can do it off the end. I'm not sure. Maybe one of the guys can
Nope.
step in and tell me about that. But I know it can't come off the top like that. So anyway,
I think you want to stay 6 or 12 inches away from an end or the top.
yep. So anyway, so that needs to
So
be
it screwed up
corrected.
the static pressure through the whole supply because when you do that, it gives the air a place. It doesn't cause the air to come back. You want the air to go charge the whole line. And then it's been a long time since the duct guys will tell you.
Absolutely. So then, we're looking at the outdoor unit. Line set's too small and it's got to be replaced. So we're talking about where we're going to put that and how we're going to run that.
Okay.
And then we were
Does
also
it go down a wall right now? Is that why? So it's going to have to come out through the top and come down a gutter or something?
That's right. It goes into the wall now, so we're going to run it down the outside of the wall. There is a good place for that. And the breaker panel's right there near the unit. So not a problem to.
Oh, they're gonna switch to straight heat pump?
Well, no, we're still going to be a hybrid.
Why is that?
Because
not enough room in the panel?
Not enough room in the panel to run a
okay
big enough electrical to the attic.
Okay, you'll still put it in the report.
Yep.
It'll just show did meet their budget.
Okay. And then we talked about the mini split for the garage.
Why does he want that?
Because the garage they don't use as a garage. They enclosed it. It's like a workout room.
Oh.
And it's not.
Does he have a window unit in there right now or something?
He has a window unit. Yes.
Okay.
It's not a heat pump, it's just an air conditioner. So it's really cold in the wintertime.
Right.
So we're talking about a heat pump and he split for that space.
Hmm.
He knows it's not going to be perfect, but it's gonna give him something.
Right.
So anyway, so we go back in, we just look at the pictures. I pull up the pictures on the iPad and explain what I see with the ductwork, makes sense to them. Go through the 6 functions again. Which equipment would you want? Which functions are you willing to, do you want, or
Which
are you
ones
willing to give up?
are you willing to forego, give up? Yeah.
And they settled in on the 5-stage because it makes the most sense, checks all the boxes that of what's important to them. And they, before, that's the one I want. So can we price that out and price out that mini split?
Okay.
So
Okay.
sure. So other than
so you
price,
settled on their specification. They're comfortable with that specification. You take it to your bidding software.
right? So now, before I present the price for it, or as I'm pulling that up, I'm asking them that other than price or payment, would there be any other reason why I couldn't earn your business today?
Okay.
And
Said he had to
he
figure
said
out
the only
finance.
thing, he said the only thing I'm trying to figure out is financing.
Okay.
I said, okay. Well, before we pull this up, I mean, do you have any? I've already asked it in the survey, but I asked it again about the pricing. Do you have any idea what the pricing might be? And so that's what I asked in the survey, as it is in the survey. And then I asked again at that point in time. I said, "Now look, let's play a guessing game. And if you guess within $100 of what this will cost, you get dinner for 2 anywhere that there's a drive-through window."
God
So I
damn it.
want you to
You
write
come up
your,
with some funny stuff.
so just write it down. So I had them write it down, flip over the paper. Don't show it to me until I finish putting this in. Let's see where we are. So they had guessed that the 5-stage would be around 18 grand, and the mini split was like 6 grand. And they I think we had it right around $17,000 for the 5-stage with writing a check, or doing a 0% for 12. And then the mini split was around $7,500, and they could do 0% for 12 with that if they wanted. So they said that we will do something. And I said, now you're not just saying that to get rid of me, are you? He's like, no, we're going to do business.
Okay. Yeah, my take on that would be, so what we've just done here is build you a specification. So that if you wanted to go get bids, you could get apples to apples bids instead of, this shoot from the hip. Every bid is different, and the other guys are going to try and tell you what you don't need to save you money so that they can win the job, and then you're not going to have all your smiley faces because they didn't bid to the smiley faces.
Right.
So, and I'm okay with you going out and getting bids, but because I helped you build the specification, can you do one thing for me? And then, well, so I'm okay with you getting bids now. I'm okay with losing the job, but I'd like last chance. Because if I lose the job, I'd like to see the bids that you got and the one that won. And that'll help compensate me for my efforts. Are you okay with that? And I don't know if this is a good approach or not. I'm going to leave that up to you, but it's been something that I've been thinking about, and it might be worth playing with.
Yeah, I'll absolutely try that and see what happens. I'm not afraid to try that. However,
I don't know that you need to try it if this move that you've got works. Because I think that what you're doing there is probably going to work pretty well, because you're keeping your relationship with these people adult and in good faith. So it'd be surprising if they went bad faith on you. But if you have people start going bad faith, then this should be in your back pocket to try.
Because I think this process is strong enough to where if they get other quotes, those people are just going to be salesy people trying to find out what company they've talked to. They're going to bash us as a company. They're going to tell them they don't need 5-stage. You just need single stage or 2-stage.
I can save you $3,000-$4,000. You don't need that fancy stuff.
Right. And they're not going to talk about the duct pressure in the
daughter's room, and boy, you love your daughter, and are you worried about the air quality so that she doesn't ever get asthma or hay fever, or managing the relative humidity.
And they're going to put more pressure on them to do business right then and there, because they know that as soon as they leave, the homeowner's going to look them up and look at their reviews again and realize that they made a mistake even having them out. So I think the process is strong enough. You're always going to have that person that's just not your customer, that you don't want to do business with, that just wants the cheap stuff maybe, and might be a problem.
Well, hopefully the process helps you sell to them too. Because you're giving them a specification as well.
Right.
And not lying to them about what it's going to do. I mean, it does become a price issue at that point, but you have the things below that are the ads. Or,
right,
if you don't want us to change your drop and do a good air filter, we can save you $1,500 on this. And that's something the other guys aren't going to quote. So we're going to put it as either an ad or by the way, this is what we always quote, but if you don't want it, it's a deduct. Some things that you think they really should have, you want to have in the package, and then have a line item that says deduct if you cancel, because it makes a statement. There's a certain level of quality that we typically just always deliver. But if this is a low bid job, you're welcome to take it out.
Right.
Anything else?
Yeah, like I said, I think the process is solid.
Okay.
It's simple. There's no point in trying to
when do you think you're getting an answer?
I think I'll hear from them today. I think they're going to figure it out today.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
So,
the 12 months same as cash. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. And then figure out whether they want to pay it off with the 401k loan or whatever later.
Right.
And interest rates might come down in the next 12 months. They might home equity line of credit, or that whole market might ease up.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Well, so
So
maybe 3 for 3. And this is a
that's right.
$26,000 job.
That's right. Well, 23, 24. No, let's
20,
see.
20.
75 plus 17. Yeah. So 24,
Okay.
25. But
And that sounds to me like you're averaging around 13,000 revenue per lead.
right.
If you get this 13,000 revenue per lead since you've been using the HVAC20 free quote process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
That's very exciting. Thank you very much for doing this.
Absolutely. I appreciate your help and guiding me through it.
Gosh, it's been fun.
Yeah.
All right, I think
Again,
we can stop the recording here.